Hey y'all, it's Andrea with the cutest little thing. Thanks so much for hopping on to watch today's video. If you love thrift flips, home decor, upcycling, DIYs, and all of the things, then you are at the right place. If this is your first time visiting my channel, I hope you like what you see, and if you do, please hit that subscribe button where you don't miss any future videos. And if you've hung out with me before, welcome back. Either way, I'm so glad you're here today. I'm excited to share with you today's video, so let's get started. For today's projects, we are going to be using our patina sprays in the Dixie Belle brand. So I have this cute little lamb I had thrifted. It's been in my stash a good while. I weren't sure what I wanted to do with it until I discovered these patina sprays. So I'm giving it a good clean. I'm going in first with the bronze patina paint, and this was the very first time I used it. I gave it a good shake. I ordered these products from Emily's Upcycled Homes affiliate link, and I will include that in the description below. So if you guys are interested in any of these products from today. I wanted to close up, this was like a mold or a cake pan or something like that, but I wanted it to stay closed. So you saw how I just hot glued it together there where I wouldn't have to worry about it coming apart. And I applied a good coat of the bronze patina paint. I was doing a little bit of a stippling motion, but I was also just doing brush strokes. And in the end, I wish I would have only done the stippling technique, because you will see why in the end, but it still turned out really pretty. And I went ahead and did the back as well, so we would have a complete look in the end and wouldn't have to go back. Now that that's good and coated, we're going to be using Dixie Belle's patina sprays in the green and in the blue. So I took it outside, and first we're going in with our green spray, and you want to spray it good, completely coat it, and then I went and sprayed with the blue. After that sat, you saw the look that we got, and I had to let that dry before I did the backside. So here I am. I have seen crafters spray the patina sprays after the patina paint had already dried, so you can do it that way. But for this project, I let my patina paints be wet when I sprayed the patina sprays. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just giving another good coat of the patina paint, took it back outside and sprayed again with the green and then with the blue. And you want to just coat that really well, let it dry, and look at that look that we got. Now I went and grabbed some other items out of my stash to do a little bit of a different technique on. This is just a galvanized bucket that I had previously thrifted. Now I'm going in with my Dixie Belle iron patina paint. Look at that. So after I cleaned it up, I just went in and put a good coat of the paint on this galvanized bucket. It was a little Christmas bucket. It had, you'll see in a minute, it had a little Christmas label on the other side, Santa Mail. I didn't worry about it. I just continued to paint over that with that patina paint. After that first coat dried, I went ahead and went in with a second coat with the same iron patina paint. And I got the bottom of the bucket as well. I went ahead and took it outside, sprayed on the green patina spray first, and I coated the whole outside of the bucket. And I did a little bit on the inside, but going back, I wish I would have done the whole inside of the bucket. Now, here are a few other items. I had a little cake pan, a little flour sifter, a mini little round pan there, and then another little kitchen item there on the left side. So again, just going in with that same technique. I'm going in with the bronze paint once again. I do think, and I know it all depends on the project and what look you're trying to achieve, but as of right now, after these projects, I think my favorite is using the bronze patina paint with both sprays, the blue and the green. So again, while that bronze patina paint was still wet, I only went in with the green that time. And here's this other little kitchen item. I cannot think of what this little thing is called right now. You can comment if you would like, because I cannot think of it. And then going in with the bronze color with the flour sifter as well. Doing a good first coat, let that dry. Then I do a second coat and then take them outside while that patina paint's still wet and go in with the patina sprays. And this was the little cake pan I had previously spray painted black just to give it a primer. Never did anything with it. I was probably going to make a faux bake with it and never did. Now I did decide for this piece to go in with the iron patina paint. And I was playing around this day, just testing out these patina paints and sprays, and I just wanted to do all sorts of different things just to try it out. And for this one, I did coat it with the blue patina spray. Now, I let these sit for a couple of days. You don't have to let them sit that long, but it just worked out that way before I could get back to the project. So I just sprayed some water on it, and I'm just sort of, I guess you could say I was wet distressing here, because that patina paint and sprays created so much texture. I mean, I loved it, but I was just sort of wiping back some of that just a little bit. So that's what I was doing here, just spraying it with water and wiping it back just a little bit. I also decided to go in with some dark wax. This is DIY's dark wax. I knew that this would not only help seal this piece and seal in those patina paints and sprays, but also I just love the look that it gave. It covered up a little bit of the patina, and I was fine with that because it gave me a lot more than I was looking for. So I was fine with covering some of that up and then letting the patina poke through in the little cracks around it and in the detail of the little lamb here. So I love the look that it gave. You could see the difference there when I flipped it before I did the dark wax. So I just really love the look that the dark wax gave me. And I did do all the pieces the same way. Next, I grabbed the little flour sifter and did the same thing with the dark wax. I want you to look at that rust that started forming on this piece from those patina sprays. And the beautiful patina, I'm telling you, I love this technique. Absolutely love it. So coating this flour sifter really well with the DIY dark wax. And again, it's going to seal this piece and also create a beautiful finish. And here's this little kitchen item that I cannot think of what it's called. Doing the same thing. Look at all the beautiful texture that was created on this piece as well. The rust look and the patina. Same thing with this piece. These were all the bronze pieces that we used the bronze paint on. Now here is our bucket that we used the iron paint on. And you can see I really love this look as well. It gave it just like a rusty finish as well as the cake pan. Now, these, I went ahead and did the dark wax on the outside of the bucket and the cake pan, and I love the look better that it gave versus without the DIY dark wax. Once I got them all coated with dark wax, I let that cure, and then I took them outside and used Rust-Oleum's clear sealer, and I wanted to spray them with this sealer as well, just to be sure they were sealed well, because I did not want them to continue to rust. I had read and saw where they would continue to rust and kind of corrode. So I did not want that to happen, so I wanted to be sure they were good and sealed up. So I didn't think a spray of the Rust-Oleum sealer would hurt a thing. And I sprayed front, and then I turned them all over and sprayed the back as well. After the sealer dried really well, I brought them back inside to my craft room. I'm using black chalk paint. I just wanted to give them more of a finished look. So as you can see, I'm just dabbing and stippling on that black chalk paint on the inside of the pieces as well as around the little rims of them. I did the cake pan there on the table. I just did the outer rim of it. And then the sifter, as you can see, I just did the entire inside as well as the rim. And I also wanted to do the larger galvanized bucket the same way. I just thought it looked better with more of a finished look. So this is where I was telling you at the beginning of the video, I wish I would have sprayed more of the patina sprays on the inside of the bucket, where it would have done the same thing as the outside. But it's okay because it looked fine in the end. Here I'm taking Waverly's Antique Wax, and I have 4 of the larger wooden beads, excuse me, and I coated those really well with that antique wax. We are going to put little feet on our cake pan with those. While I had out the antique wax, I took a small paintbrush and dabbed on. I didn't do the handle of the bucket, so I thought the antique wax would just kind of mimic that same rusty look for those handles. So that's what I did. I just touched up that bucket with that antique wax. So here I am going in with E6000 glue as well as some hot glue to glue on our little feet on the bottom of our cake pan. The E6000 glue, and I'm sorry my head keeps getting in the way here, it gives more of a firm hold, but it takes longer to dry, and the hot glue will give you an instant hold. So I like to use the E6000 glue, and then the hot glue kind of holds it in place while the E6000 glue dries completely. This is just a cute little mini doily I got off of Amazon. I'm going to be using this to embellish my little items here, but I wanted to coffee stain it so it wouldn't be such a bright white color. And that was just coffee I had left over from my morning coffee. And I just put it in that measuring cup and dipped the doily into that coffee. It's just plain black coffee. And I squeezed it out and dried it. While I had out this coffee and I was coffee staining some stuff, I grabbed some old music sheets that I had in my stash. I was going to do a little quick project with them, and I was coffee staining them, but after everything was all done and dry, it really didn't make much of a difference because these were vintage pages anyway. But if they had have been printed on just regular white computer paper, it would have, gave it that coffee stain look. And I did ball some of them up just to give them that crinkled look. But this paper was so old and worn. It was so brittle and fragile. It would tear when I was trying to unball it. So I kind of wish I hadn't have done that technique on these. But in the end, it turned out fine. But I would have been just fine to have skipped this step and rolled them up just the way they were. Here I am now that they're all dry. I just rolled them up. As you can see here, I tied them with a little piece of jute string. I just simply cut my jute string the length that I wanted it. And I tied it one time. I added a wooden tag. I get these wooden tags off of Amazon, as well as a little key. These are little keys I get off of Amazon as well. And just one little sprig of baby's breath. I place everything there in the center with a little dab of hot glue, and then tie a bow holding everything in place. And I did decide to stamp that wooden tag with a little birdie stamp. I had these little birdie stamps in my stash I got off of Amazon as well. So I chose the little birdie that I wanted. I hadn't used these stamps yet, so I took a little piece of sandpaper and just scuffed up that stamp. You want to do that if it's the first time you use your stamp. And that just opens it up and helps your ink load on there properly. And then you get a nice clean stamp for the first time. But you only need to do that step for the first use. And look how cute that little birdie is on that tag. I thought it was a really sweet touch. So I went ahead and stamped up a few more tags while I had everything out, so they would be ready when I rolled up the rest of my music sheets. This is a little bit of a detour with this video, I guess you could say, but you will see how everything kind of comes together in the end if you hang tight. And you can see here how I just rolled up each little music sheet. See how brittle this paper. This was one that tore a lot on me, so I kind of hot glued it to hold it in place where it wouldn't be too terribly torn. I just continued rolling those music sheets, placing greenery and different florals on there, baby's breath, and those sweet little wooden tags with birdies stamped on them. And some of them I stamped on some writing, but they all turned out super cute. I love the pop of color on this one. Now back to the little cake pan. Our wooden feet have dried. I took that coffee stained doily, a piece of greenery, and some of our rolled up music sheets that we did together. Placed those inside. And y'all, I had this little basket pitcher. I not long ago thrifted. I was so excited to find it at my local Goodwill for 99 cents. And how cute is it staged in this little pan, in this rusty pan. I just added a little bit of Spanish moss at the top and a few sprigs of dried baby's breath. And how cute is that, y'all? I love how this little cake pan turned out with all of our goodies inside. Let me know what you think of this one. And I took a basket I had in my stash. I took that birdie stamp once again and I stamped up the entire thing this time. And I simply stamped the front of this basket with those birdies on the branch there. How cute is that? And then I took the rest of those music sheets that we made and simply place them right in the basket. Now back to our bucket, our galvanized bucket. I decided I wanted to paint up some wooden spoons, and I will use several different colors in the Sweet Pickins milk paint for this. First, this is the color Flour Sack, and all of these colors are the Sweet Pickins milk paint. And I simply layered up my milk paint. I would do one coat, then I would apply heat with my heat tool, and then I would apply a second coat. And some of the spoons, I guess it just all depended if they were coated with a wax or a sealer. Some of them chipped more than others. Now here I'm going in with the color Haberdash. And this is a beautiful light gray color. And I grabbed a few. I had several wooden spoons and little forks and things in my stash from where I would just grab them at the thrift store. They make the cutest little display pieces. And you will see here at the end when it all comes together. I like to do groups of 3, and you can paint them, stamp on them, do transfers. The possibilities are endless, and then you tie up. I like to do groups of 3, tie them up with cute ribbon, lace, jute string, add a tag, little piece of greenery, and a piece of floral, and you have the cutest little display piece. And here we're going in with the color Basil, and look at what a beautiful green that is. Now, I loved how the set of basil spoons turned out, and you will see them here soon, the finished piece. Just hang tight with me as we paint through our wooden spoon stash. I was just having a good time experimenting with all these different colors and the Sweet Pickins milk paint. Here, I was going to just do the top of this spoon and do a transfer or something in the spoon in the round part, but I did decide to just go ahead and paint the entire spoon. Now that the spoons are good and dry, I'm going in with little pieces of transfers that I have. I do take my gator sander and kind of scuff up some of the spoons, giving them a distressed look. And I just go in with various little pieces of transfers that I had in my stash for each spoon set. Like for this spoon set, I did pink and the little butterfly and the pink flower there. And then I sealed up the spoons with the Sweet Pickins beeswax. And this is the white wax in the Sweet Pickins. Some of them I did use Dixie Belle's Best Dang Wax. And see here how I'll take 3 of them and just take some lace and some jute string and tie them up. Make a cute little bow. And just trim it up to the size I need it. Add a little piece of greenery. And look how cute that is. Here's another set of 3. I had these little hummingbird transfers. Now, I did go in and seal these spoons with Big Top before I applied the transfers because I couldn't seal with the wax because you can't apply transfers after wax. So I used Big Top to seal these, and I let that dry really well before finishing up the transfers. Now for these, I took Dixie Belle's Best Dang Wax in the white, and there's that super chippy spoon, the one that I was only going to paint the top, and then I decided to paint the entire spoon. And look how much chipping we got on this one. So I wanted to coat these really well with the wax. So as you can see, I'm just taking my brush and going up, down, and all around, getting that wax in all of those little grooves and chippy places of that paint. And then this spoon, I had previously painted half of the handle gray with some chalk paint, and then I stamped some birdies and writing on the handles. And I'm just applying that white wax right over all of that. I wanted to add a tag on this one. I had this cute little birdie transfer. Since I didn't have transfers on these spoons, I thought a large tag would be super cute. I decided I better paint that tag white before applying that transfer. So I went in with Fusion paint in the color, let's see, I think this is Parchment. In the color Parchment. Yes, that is correct. I had to double check on that. So I just painted one good coat of that, let that dry, and applied that cute transfer. I took this Distress Oxide in the color Rusty Hinge, and I just took it and dabbed around the edge of this tag. Let that dry completely before I applied the tag to my set of spoons. And look how cute that is with some jute string, greenery, and baby's breath. How cute is that? I wish I would have did more with the tag after I did this one, but the other ones turned out cute too with the transfers being on the spoon. Look how cute that is. I just love that chippy spoon. Love how that looks. And here are those green spoons, y'all. Look how pretty. I'm just taking a piece of tape and sticking and trying to distress some of that paint off. But I do believe the green set of spoons is my favorite. And I just applied that bird nest transfer and a little feather on the other piece. Now, y'all, getting back to this little piece, I took a piece of drop cloth, just some scrap drop cloth that I had, and I made little marks around the bottom, and I'm just going to cut that out in a circle just so it will fit on that bottom. We're going to hot glue that on where it will have a bottom, and I can fill this piece with something. Let's see if you can guess what I'm going to fill this piece with. What would you guess? I let that hot glue dry. I trimmed around just to get those excess pieces off. I wanted it good and flush with my piece. I didn't want any fabric sticking out. All right, have you guessed what we're going to fill this with yet? Putting in some moss, and you guessed it, a bird's nest. And I made this bird's nest with some Spanish moss that had a green tint to it, some brown floral wire, and now I'm hot gluing in 3 cute little yellow eggs. I get these eggs off of Amazon, and look how cute, y'all. That simple. I did decide to add a little piece of lace and tie the handle so this piece can be hung on a little peg hanger or a coat rack or a decorative ladder or something like that. But how cute is that? I just love it so much. Now, back to our little lamb. I have to decide what we're going to do with him. I love how he looks since he's all dry with his wax and everything. I think this little lamb needs a bow. So I'm taking my bow dabber. I have several different types of burlap ribbon. I'm just going in and making little loops, not too big because I don't want it to take away from our cute little lamb. I make a few loops of one style of burlap ribbon, and then I go in with a different type. Tie my jute string together and make a little bow with my excess jute string. Trim off the excess, and look how cute. I decided I wanted to add a tag. I have this cute little sheep stamp that I got from Amazon. So I took one of those wooden tags from Amazon, inked up my stamp, pressed that really well. I did want to age it up, so I took my Dixie Belle's Best Dang Wax in the brown and took a little blender brush and brushed on all over that tag that brown wax because I did want to age that up and darken it so it would match our rusty crusty little lamb here. I wiped back the excess with a dry paper towel. I tied that on with jute string, and I also put a longer piece of jute string on it so I could just tie that bow on the neck and not have to hot glue it. And look how cute he turned out. Now back to this little piece, our little mini cake pan. I took a piece of muslin fabric and I traced around. I just traced around it with a pen so I could know where to cut. And I ended up having to cut a little bit more, and I'm sorry for my head in your view here. I got it trimmed to the size I needed it. Now I'm going to take these cute little birdies. This is from the new IOD stamp release. So I've never used it. So again, I'm sanding that. I'm using my archival ink to ink that up really well. And I'm just going to simply stamp this piece of fabric. Make sure it's centered. You want to press down firmly when you're stamping on fabric. It tends to be lighter than it is on paper, and look how gorgeous that is. I went ahead and got my stamp cleaned back up before I put it back up. And now I'm just going to hot glue this little piece of fabric on the inside of our pan. I glued half, and then I went in and glued the other half. Just makes it easier than trying to glue that whole thing down at once. And look how cute. I took a piece of lace. I wanted to make a hanger in case you wanted to be able to hang this up. And I just hot glued it on one side. I measured out how big I wanted my hanger. Then I cut that lace, and then I hot glued the other side. Press that down firmly. Let that dry so I wouldn't pull it apart. Now I'm going to add a little bit of greenery and some moss. I just hot glued that Spanish moss down at the bottom. And this is some greenery I'd taken it out of an old arrangement. Well, it weren't old, but it was just one I wasn't using anymore. I pulled all the florals out of it. So I just took a couple of pieces of that greenery and hot glued it into that moss. And then I took a couple of pieces of that dried baby's breath and added that in the center. I thought that added a cute little touch. And y'all, I love how this one turned out. I think it is too cute. Now back to our bucket. Let's get this embellished. Here's another set of spoons I finished up. I love how chippy they came out as well. And I love that haberdash color. Now I'm filling this bucket. My idea is to use it to display these sets of spoons in my booth because they will be sold separately. And this is another one of those little mini doilies. I just left this one white. Draped it on the edge with a piece of greenery, and added my spoons to the inside of my bucket because I'm thinking I can use this just to display my spoons in my booth for sale. And I just love that green one, y'all. So I just get them placed in there, and how cute is that? I know you wouldn't leave that many in there for decor in your home, but this is going in my booth. So here is the finished piece. I did take some of them out to display to show you guys, but look how cute. Just a few of them being in there, and I did add a little bit of baby's breath. I just love how this turned out. I love each set of spoons, how they're all different, but they all kind of go together with the bird theme and the florals. Y'all let me know what you think of this one. And just a quick recap of the other projects we completed in today's video. Here is our sweet little rusty crusty lamb. Look at all that patina goodness. And I just love his little bow and tag. I think he is absolutely adorable. as well as our little mini pan where we stamped the birds on the fabric and added the greenery and a little bit of baby's breath. I think just that little bit of color with that green, it's just so pretty with all of those neutral colors that we have there. And then our sweet little birdie's nest in our mystery kitchen piece that I cannot remember the name of. Y'all have to help me out with that. And our basket. This was just sort of unplanned with these projects. It just kind of happened. But I absolutely love the outcome and love those music sheets. And our little sifter. I just simply stuck some baby's breath in that. I love it. And last but not least, our little cake pan that we put the feet on and made the cutest little display piece. Y'all, as always, thank you so much for watching today's video. Thank you for all of your likes and sweet comments. And if you are not subscribed to my channel, please hit that bell before you leave so you don't miss any future videos. Thank you for all of your support. I hope you all have a blessed day, and I will see you on the next video. Bye, friends.